take some time this morning to talk about the difference between this, an Aeropress, and a French press, and an Espresso. So, one of the most common questions I get when people walk in and I show them an Aeropress, and they say, "Oh, is that like a French press?" And in some ways I can understand why people get confused about that, because they both have the word press in them. But when you're talking about the way it extracts coffee, an Aeropress is actually closer to an espresso machine than it is to a French press. And here's why. When I make a French press, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coffee grounds, I'm going to put them in there, I'm going to put water in there, and I'm going to let it sit for about 4 minutes usually with the press up on the French press, which all I'm doing, and then when the 4 minutes is up, I'm going to take this and I gently press this down. And the reason I'm doing that is quite simply just to hold the grounds at the bottom of the press, so that when I pour my coffee out, I don't have a whole bunch of grounds in my cup. So, makes great coffee, but really the only reason for the pressing motion on the French press is so that when you're doing it, you can hold the grounds on the bottom. The Aeropress, on the other hand, is a little bit different. If you've never seen an Aeropress work, it's actually pretty cool. You've got this little filter holder, and usually paper filters. I've got paper filters right here. You put the filters on the bottom of the Aeropress like that. So I've got a little paper filter in there. And then I'm going to freshly grind some coffee. I usually grind this coffee pretty fine so that it doesn't take up, so that it creates a little pressure. And when I make my Aeropress, I'm going to put the grounds in there and I'm going to push down with the plunger. And what happens is I'm actually creating pressure to force the water through the grounds, similar to what an espresso machine does. When I make an espresso, exactly the same thing happens. A pump creates pressure in the group head here that forces the water through the grounds. So what's happening is we are extracting the oils and everything from the coffee using I fell sideways there, by using pressure. So let me finish up making my Aeropress and I'll show you exactly how that works.
How do I,
Yep. So I've got my Aeropress ready to go here. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. I'm just going to add it directly in, because I'm not measuring this one. They've got handy dandy little numbers on the side, so I just fill it up to the 4. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. And then I take my plunger, push down on the plunger, and it's creating a little bit of force on there, so it's taking a little bit of effort to actually use this Aeropress. Whereas if I were doing the French press, I would be able to push that down real lightly. So that's my Aeropress. So I've got a fantastic cup of coffee that way. Brews a little bit closer to espresso. Some people like to do that, the Aeropress, with a little bit of water added to it, because it does make a little bit of a stronger drink. So if you like a little bit of water, you can add some water just to top it off. But that's how the Aeropress is actually more like the espresso machine than it is like a French press. Thanks a lot. See you next time.